Have you ever been on a heated exchange with a loved one, maybe your spouse or a family member, and notice that no matter what you do, they never seem to get your point?
Sounds familiar? This could be a vehement yes for many of us.
Instead, it felt like they were on the other side of the stand, accusing you of judging them. Continue to watch what we have in this video to find out how we can communicate effectively in the most benign and straightforward way possible.
But I have to warn you of those people who, no matter what you do or how you explain, despite you thinking that you've unloaded everything in your arsenal to get your point across, may never seem to get your point, and you find yourself unwittingly veering off course and eventually feeling sullen and resentful about the entire thing. It's not that these people don't understand, but it seems convenient for them not to accept reality. These people are narcissistic and unapologetic. They're into gaslighting and with no means to an end.
Worse yet is when you're done with a conversation and sit back thinking of the countless hours wasted, pondering over the injustice and the emotional torment you've been put through. Losing your time and dignity, trying to prove your logic with utter bewilderment, and hoping for an alternative, an approach that could drive the point in a more civilized and constructive way, instead of making a spectacle out of it. The feeling's like you're walking on a bed of needles.
What I'm trying to say here is, it's not about us finding fault with these people. It's just that these people have a different understanding of reality as it is. And what the other person may feel, how the other person feels or hurt. Okay, they look at things basically from their point of view.
I would say, keep away from such people. Continuing to hope things will change is only going to steal the precious present away from you. Don't let your life drift. Be in control.
Now, before I let you in on the secret of how to get to the minds and hearts of people, let me give you a glimpse into how powerful intention can be.
Life as is riddled with choices. These choices are a gift when observed from a certain life angle. I believe we are the only living creatures on this planet that have the control over our own fate based on the choices we make. And what fuels our choice? Intention.
Let me illustrate this point with the following true story from Mark Victor Hansen's book, Dreams Don't Have Any Deadlines.
In his book, Hansen talks about our famous Norman Cousins, who defeated cancer with happiness. Yeah, you heard that right. He goes on to say how Cousins was his teacher, and he was told that he was going to die because he had too much stress, and was asked to just lay down there in the hospital and quietly let go. But Norman was studying Hans Selye and his research on stress and how it affected people. Selye's original work proved that laughter stimulated 134 positive healing chemistries in the mind, like the endorphins that heal our body.
So Cousins, being a self-determined man, checked out of the hospital and into a hotel and watched every movie that he could get his hands on and laughed his way to recovery. And that too in weeks.
The good news is that Cousins lived 28 years longer than any doctor could have reasonably imagined. I strongly advise you to read or listen to the tapes of Anatomy of an Illness, since his recovery was so amazing, singular, and extraordinary. So, what made the cure possible? Exercising his ability to make the right choice through the right mindset. Positive intent. If this isn't convincing enough, then you must watch Healing Through Thought and Feeling by Greg Braden. The link is in the description below.
In the video, Greg Braden shows us how the energy field of human emotions can manifest miracles. when you apply conscious, positive focus on what you want.
He uses the case of a woman with a 3-inch diameter bladder cancer, who was deemed inoperable by the Western medical standards. He explains how, by adopting life-affirming practices, she was able to change the way she was living her life. 3 practitioners then used energy work to facilitate the healing, which caused the tumor to vanish in just under 3 minutes. You must also know that this is a medicineless hospital. The patient was fully awake during the entire procedure, and the practitioners only used intent to make the tumor disappear. Now, you may ask me, how is knowing this going to help me communicate effectively? Back to imagining yourself in a heated exchange between your spouse or a family member. How often have we paused and asked ourselves first, am I clear about my intent? What do I want out of this conversation? Common sense will tell you that if your intent isn't clear to you, then the other person doesn't stand a chance at making the effort to understand or adhere to what you're trying to change. On the flip side, we oftentimes notice that this inadvertently leads to a lot of false conjectures, blaming, and calling people out that is unasked for. Let's say here, we just failed to exercise our ability to choose. So, what if we could use the power of intent to change the way we communicate with each other? Here are a few things we can do to ensure we keep our conversation hygienic and positive. Transformation is greatly hampered by our resistance to change in our lives. Now, we continue to keep to our routine because we believe that these are our only options. We hesitate because we oppose anything novel or unconventional. We waver, swinging back and forth between fear and doubt. A lot of us may look fine on the exterior, but there's a lot of internal conflict. We tend always to think about the not-so-good things happening in our lives, and we get caught up with not focusing on the possibility that would get us out of this sticky situation. So, visualize a positive outcome before you communicate. This will help align your thoughts logically. Transformation usually involves the shedding of old ways, especially those that have become burden. This practice proclaims that no matter who you are, no matter what has already happened to you, no matter what you have done, it is still possible to be and do something new. So dump your emotional past and make way for the new. It's like cleaning your system. Imagine what happens when you eat but unable to empty your bowels regularly. It leads to constipation and toxins add up. It not only affects our health, but also affects our overall being in ways that are unexpected. It's no different with your thoughts too. You'd be an emotional wreck if you do not change your existing beliefs. We take pride in considering ourselves the information-driven population. Let's pause and ponder. Information is good, but drowning yourself in it because you want to advertise your capacity for information hoarding has led individuals to incongruent thinking and a poor showcasing of their ego. What I mean to say is, following an information diet can help with clarity of thought as much as following a nutritious diet for a healthy life. At times, being selective of the type of information you consume can be impactful. Affirmations are great, but affirmations alone are insufficient for manifestation. They linger at the conscious level until certain action is taken in the same direction to help embed this information into your subconscious. Because 90% of the time, our lives are driven from a subconscious and only 10% from the conscious level. which is unbelievable. So scrutinize your every thought at the conscious level until those positive repetitions are embedded in your subconscious. And then you will see you're no longer the person you were a few months or a year ago. Your speech has changed, you sound more logical and convincing, your actions have vigor and a new direction. So now you know. Intent is what precedes choice, and choice determines result. In other words, compose yourself before you compose your message. There are a plethora of videos out there that talk about effective communication. However, here at Speech Mechanic, we'd like to take a scientific and psychological approach to answering the why in communicating effectively. Because when you are clear about the why, the logical construct of the what and the how is all but inevitable. Thanks for watching, and keep looking out for more from Speech Mechanic. Until then, live, love, laugh.
Have you ever been in a heated exchange with your... Let me start again, Don. I didn't know if it sounds familiar. I hope you enjoy the video because there are many videos out there that really talk about how and what of communication and effective communication. However, there did you pause? Okay, let's do it.
It started that.
Well, thank you very much for being patient and listening to the entire video. Thank you very much for watching the video. It's just that, never mind, keep running. Their point of view, and so they tend to lose the right mindset. Okay. So Cousins, being a self-determined man, checked out of the hotel, checked out of the hospital, and into a hotel. And in the video, Greg Braden shows us how. In the video, Greg Braden shows us how the energy field of human emotions can manifest miracles. When you apply conscious, positive focus on what you want.